So by now, we've all had time to mourn Heidi Klum and Seal's failed 7-year marriage. Heidi claims it was a result of Seal's anger issues, but how does this all apply to your relationship? Marriage and family therapist Dr. Jane Greer is a Galtime.com contributor who's giving us the shrink wrap on the 7-year itch. Good morning, Dr. Greer.
Good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here with everybody.
Thanks for joining us. You know, 7 years, they seemed so happy, and a lot of people feel like if they can't make it, who can? But what can we learn from their mistakes?
Well, that's a great question because we see a happy couple like the two of them out and about all over town, romantic, affectionate, and it's really hard to come to terms with the fact that what goes on behind closed doors is not always happiness and fun. In fact, for so many people, what goes on behind closed doors is arguing, differences, clashing, conflict. And unfortunately, not only were Heidi and Seal the only two people who couldn't resolve their differences, but it goes on for so many people, and the anger gets out of control, builds and builds until the point where it just implodes and completely can destroy a relationship.
What should you absolutely hammer out before tying the knot?
I think you really have to know that you have communication in place and that you're able to talk. The fact that he was saying he was completely blindsided by her filing for divorce speaks to the lack of communication between these two. How can one person be so unhappy that they're ready to get divorced and the other person is completely in the dark about it?
Family therapist Dr. Jane Greer says the key to happiness is being self-reliant and responsible.
The more we live up to our own expectations, the better we feel about ourselves. And of course, the better we feel about ourselves, the happier we are, and the happier we are in our relationships. If somebody is the controller, if they are always setting the controls and the temperature being what they want without considering their partner, that's a relationship that's out of balance, and then it is eventually going to have to resolve all the anger and resentment that's going to go along with it.
Dr. Jane Greer has been a relationship therapist for 25 years and says the loss of interest between men and women oftentimes isn't the pill at all.
There's something else going on in the relationship that is creating distance and perhaps the turnoff that might be taking place sexually. Make sure you turn things on, turn up your appearance, turn out the energy so that you're being affectionate, playful, kissing, and make sure you're doing everything that you can to bring the spark back so that the relationship isn't stale and it's not the same old all the time. Couples very often do plan their rendezvous, and whether you're in the bedroom together or in separate bedrooms, as long as you're planning time to have that intimacy and create that sexual and share that sexual energy, you'll be fine.
There's no denying women's love of shoes. Psychologist Jane Greer says it's practically in our DNA.
Shoes are the fairy tale come true for women. It's the Cinderella slipper. And it makes you feel connected to your inner sexy self. It transports you to being the woman that you always wanted to be and that you carry around inside you.